Alright, what's up guys, it's Team Kuribrohs here with Brad and Luke. And what did you guys do here this weekend?
I won Irish Nationals.
I came first position, top 4 at Irish Nationals.
Cool. And you two played each other in top 4, right?
Yeah, we played in top 4. We were hoping to obviously play in the finals. We played the same exact 70 cards, and we really wanted to just get the first and second. It was just unfortunate with the brackets.
Yeah, it was very unfortunate. May as well show off this gorgeous trophy here and the best prize card of all time. So this is a Trickstar Sky Striker.
Yeah, Trickstar Sky Striker.
Sure, cool.
We chose this deck because every other deck doesn't have as many starter cards as this. So like, we have like Desires, Light Stage, Candina, Terraforming, so many cards that just gain advantage for us.
You're not really relying on just seeing Engage, or your deck doesn't do anything. Like,
Yeah.
The deck really has a much higher ceiling than Brandish, and it just has a higher consistency than Goki. So it's just
Fair enough, cool. Sure, we get into the list, sure.
Yeah, sure. So on the main deck, 40 cards.
Yeah, of course.
For the Trickstars, one for the monsters, 3 Candina, 3 Lycoris,
Okay.
the 1 Lilybell. That was it for the Trickstar engine.
Sure.
We were playing 2 Lycoris, but we found that in the mirror match it comes up that you need the third, and just in general, like if you Desires and you enter a grand game and you only have like Candina left, your Candina's become a lot worse because you can only Candina for Candina. And if you're doing that, then you're in a really terrible situation, so the third does come up. Opening it's really bad because it's the only Trickstar that actually does nothing like to the game state other than burn. Like, even Lilybell adds you back a card, it gains you advantage, but this card is like the only real like, semi-brick in the deck, I suppose. But you just have to play 3 because of the damage output that it allows. Anything to say about it?
You're also playing enough starters that like drawing this isn't too bad as long as your hand isn't trash. So like if you draw 1 and then like Terraforming at Light Stage, it's fine. Or it's like it's only really bad if you see it by itself, but we maxed out on every other good card, so it's pretty fine.
Drawing this with this as well is also really good because you can play around Impermanence and Ogre, and Veiler as well, as that was a played card. I did play around Ogre and Impermanence in the finals with Lycoris in hand. It's just, my opponents lost so many cards that he couldn't do anything, and I'd gained so much advantage with my search of Candina, my side Lycoris, and my board advantage. It did go for the same with me, just like yeah.
I'm just mandatory, unfortunately.
Do you want to talk about hand traps?
Yeah, sure. So just the important ones. So like Ash's staple just for the mirror. It's like you have to Ash the second engage. I have to add back Alkagari because most often like they'll go engage into Ray or Artifact and then add it back and get the real card and then try and resolve for 3. So you hold it for the first one and then Ash the second one, and it hurts a lot more because like people in this event just don't know how to play against Brandish. So Ash in the first one and it doesn't really hurt as much. And then draw for it hits the mirror really hard, but also hits Brandish, and it just slaughters Goki. I think it's probably the best hand trap of the format.
Absolutely, especially in this deck. I won at least 5 games, including the final game 2 of the finals, just with Droll Reincarnation.
Okay.
It's just an FTK essentially.
Of course, yeah, because sometimes people can't play around
exactly,
and stuff like that, yeah. No, for sure.
These hand traps were the best we thought because they're the most universally applicable. So like Ash, there's always something to Ash, but the issue with Ash as well is that like in the event we realised Coogan said oh, Ash is really good against our deck, and I raised the issue of what do you hit, because there's so many different cards to hit. So this card's kind of dodgy against the mirror match a little bit, but
you need to know when to Ash.
Yeah, you really have to know. But this card, it's a floodgate that's a hand trap essentially.
Fair enough, yes. Something for a turn, yeah.
That was everything for the monsters.
Sure, cool. Move on to spells.
Yeah, move on to spells. 3 Desires, 3 Scapegoats, 3 Terraformings, 3 Light Stage, 3 Engage, 3 Hornet Bit.
Yeah, just 3 of everything.
Exactly. And then our one-offs were Jamming Wave, Widow Anchor, Afterburner, and Upstart. So I think it's 22 spells, right?
I think so, yeah.
This is an auto win. This is just a win button. You flip it. This plus Candina is like insane damage. Insane, and you can also pop a back row with Phoenix, or even shuffle back a card with a unicorn, and you still have game on board. You draw 2, clear the board, kill them.
Yeah, of course.
Desires. It kind of conflicted when we only played the 2 Lycoris. But with the 3 Lycoris, this card's always insane. Banishing the Lilybell can sometimes suck in the mirror match, but other than that, and also banishing these guys can suck. But normally, if you banish this, then this serves the same purpose. banishing Widow Anchor can be a little bit annoying, but like this deck doesn't really rely on this card so much as just a utility card to search, isn't it?
It's just a defensive card for you to get to roll just when you play it safe.
Sure, fair enough.
Upstart's kind of weird in this deck because like you want to burn them, but like
Of course,
you need the spells as they're brandishing. It's a really weird conflict.
Yeah, I guess I suppose the idea is that you have like more plays than just burning them now, so like
Exactly,
you can afford to play
exactly.
it. Fair enough.
We played the Brandish engine because the advantage it gives us is absolutely unbelievable. If you open just Hornet Bit, then you can add engage to hand through draw, set up for next turn. You know, well, you play around draw, is what I mean. You can play around draw with this card, it's great. Just putting a Kagari or a Shizuku on board as well in the mirror match, it creates a lot of pressure because their monsters become lower than yours, and that the attack points is really, really important in the mirror match.
It really fixes like the problem with Trickstar, just like has such a low ceiling. Well, like the Brandish engine didn't really do enough by itself. Like it didn't have any damage output or real pressure. This deck just fixes both those problems and just had more starter cards. Like your deck is just one large engine and hand traps.
Sure, fair enough. That's cool.
Afterburner, we weren't playing this card until like the day before the event. We were at 39. We were actually at 38 with 2 Lycoris, and we were testing different hand traps, and we found that no other hand trap than the ones we had in our main deck really deserved to be in the main deck. So we played our Afterburner and the 3rd Lycoris because it's just an additional disruption. So like going second, these cards are just insane.
Of course.
Especially in the mirror match where just hitting their guys and their back row at the same time, taking 2 cards off them at once if you've got 3 spells engraved, they really can't recover from being hit so hard. Especially if you activate this as well, they have to chain Scapegoat because it doesn't target the back row.
Of course.
Which means it's amazing.
Yes.
It's also enough so like Desires doesn't conflict too much because you're always going to have a searchable.
Yeah.
And like same with Shizuku, it's really annoying if you run out of targets, you draw one of these at the search one.
An interesting thing about Scapegoat and also Light Stage is that when we were light staging, when we were being light staging the mirror match, we were always chaining Scapegoat, but a lot of our opponents didn't chain the Scapegoat.
Yeah, they're playing like the old mirror.
Yeah, they were playing it like the like back in Prague format.
Okay.
You just let it resolve and in the end phase flip the Scapegoat. But now that Phoenix is a card for the Nightmare Phoenix, you really cannot afford to do that. You have to chain this card.
Okay.
And even in the mirror match, unless you have like double Lycoris in hand and a Candina on board, your Scapegoats, you're always going to stick at least 2 tokens on board by the end of the turn. So I'd rather know that I'm not going to die, get value out of my Scapegoat, make them lose resources clearing the goats, than risk them making Phoenix, discarding something like a Reincarnation, and then popping my Scapegoat and I have nothing. The same, yeah?
Yeah, it's pretty mandatory to chain. I think the mirror is so different.
Sure.
Light Stage is possibly the best card in the deck in the mirror match, I'd say, because it forces interruption, like Reincarnation after you've added, because they're so scared of you using Light Stage on the sets, particularly the Reincarnation, and they don't want you to know when they Trickstar, they want to remove the resource from your hand. Against like Altergeist and Draco and other decks like that, this card's also just absurd.
Oh, it's insane against like Pure Brandish as well, because it shuts off Widow Anchors and stuff.
Especially after the multi-roll, if you know exactly where the Widow Anchor is. You can Trickstar Light Stage the Widow Anchor that you know exactly where it is. It goes off.
It's one of the cards that makes this deck just like way better than have a really good matchup against Pure Brandish. Because like they don't want to commit like anchors because they're just gonna get life stage.
Yeah.
So players could hold like engages in hand to do Shizuku could play just end 2 engage in hand, and then they play into Reincarnation. So like it makes them have to commit to the board. And when they do it, they can just get blown up by like this card, and then you can just Phoenix right back around. They're just losing resources so quickly.
Fair enough, yeah. So they lose to one or the other, essentially, is the idea.
Yeah. Got anything else to say about spells?
No, I think that's it. Yeah.
Cool.
There's 22 spells, I believe.
Sure. That's fine.
Traps, we played 5. 3 impermanents, and the 2 Reincarnation. So we did consider the 3rd Reincarnation, but we found that even if we banished both off Desires, drawing 2 cards meant that we were so far ahead that it generally doesn't matter. Especially if you have hand traps as well, it's kind of unneeded. It's just win more at that point.
It's just a break if you're going second.
It's a total break if you're going second as well. So we wanted to minimise like our risk of opening this. Although it is quite nice to open if you open a Hornet Bit in itself and a Droll, because you can just Hornet Bit for the Kagari, add back your Hornet Bit Shizuku, and they don't know you're playing Trickstar, so you set this and you have the draw in hand, and they'll play like with Brandish as though it's a mirror match, so they won't want to set the cards to connect to the board.
Of course.
And then you instantly Reincarnation draw them, and they have no idea. Obviously that's only good for game 1, but
of course, yeah, but like you can just blow them out.
Impermanence was really good for me, good for you as well. We were scared of Goki and hitting Suprex or Isolde with this or Firewall. there's so many cards you can hit with impermanence against Goki that just stops the turn.
And Shizuku getting impermanence big as well.
Yeah, that's huge. Or Kagari add back when they're trying to engage. If you hit the Kagari, they can't add a second engage. They don't have any engages now. They still have one engrave, and they have to make the Kagari next turn and get it back. So they've lost a turn effectively. Sure. I think this was great. Like I don't
change anything.
People seem to play like other traps. I've seen like people on DB particularly playing like strikes and other things like that. I don't think it's needed when you're playing your hand traps and your engine itself is so aggressive. I mean, Candina alone is like, what is it?
Damage?
Yeah, damage. 4-2, right?
Yeah.
4,200 damage, so you take away half your opponent's life points in one turn. Like, you don't need to have extra cards that stop your opponent from playing when you can just put pressure on board so fast. And though the format seems quite fast, it's really quite slow.
Yeah, you don't really get OTK
No.
in this format. Like, it's very different. Like even the Brandish mode, they're just like setting a few cards and passing. They just don't want to commit. Well, like you couldn't do that in previous formats, but this deck kind of it can apply pressure.
Yeah, fair enough.
That's 40 cards in the main deck.
Yeah, of course.
We'll go to extra.
Sure.
We did have some issues with the extra deck because we were at 17 cards and we found that nothing was cuttable, but we eventually managed to get it down to 15. It took us a long time though. But we played 3 Link Spiders,
Okay.
the 1 Mermaid, 2 Kagaris, the 1 Shizuku, 1 Goblin, 1 Cerberus, 1 Phoenix, 1 Ib, I'll get into this later,
Sure.
1 Unicorn, 1 Ningirsu, a Firewall, and a Barload.
Okay.
So these were obviously you have to play this card in this deck because of the LTK, which I did to Luke in top 4 actually.
Okay.
Luke had complete board advantage, but I just had the Lid Ball in hand and I could afford to make Firewall, and his entire board didn't matter.
Sure. Okay.
It also comes up like there's weird situations in this deck where you're against Brandish and you have to like make a link in your extra monster zone just to clear your main monster zone so that you can set your Widow Anchor, because Widow Anchor is really valuable against pure Brandish. I actually ended up against Cormac making Firewall pass because my hand was really odd. It was a bit of a meme at the time.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
There was nothing else I could do. It just looked terrible.
Yeah.
But I had to get the Widow Anchor live.
Fair enough. Yeah.
So this card was really good. Did you OTK many people with this?
I OTK'd no one. But it was always good to have the option.
Fair enough.
It nearly came up a few times.
Did you borrow anyone?
No, but it was. Oh no, I did, but I got goes and flipped them before I got to it.
I summoned Barlord once and he won me the game.
Okay, fair enough.
Because it's a link 4, often when you're using your scapegoats, you want to go into your nightmares, not your Barlord. If you're going into your Barlord, it means that you're probably in a losing position. You've got something you need to take.
Yeah.
And your engine can't particularly make this. I mean, like Hornet Bit plus Candina can make it, I guess.
Yeah.
But
if you're talking about Candina, it's probably better stuff to go into usually.
yeah, exactly. It's a loss of resources. You're gonna have to use the Lily Bell from hand to summon itself out, and you've lost quite a few cards there. But these are just our big guys, our link 4s. You know, like our bombs and our extra deck essentially. And then another bomb was Ningirsu, which we weren't playing until like a week before, was it? Around then?
Yeah, I just out the Nightmare board. It's just
Outs the Nightmare board, doesn't target. In the mirror match you can summon it and they have to chain Scapegoat, otherwise they risk the Scapegoat being sent to the graveyard.
Yeah.
Also with Ib, that's quite nice.
Yeah, still a good combo.
I haven't done it at all since like we had the Brandish cards because there's no reason to now. When Scapegoat is just instantly better to summon
I draw one card, you
the
can
Nightmares. Because of the Nightmares, we also played 3 Link Spiders. We found like with Scapegoat, because these all need different names.
Yeah.
Having the Link Spider is really important, the third one, because we would often go into the third.
Yeah. I did it like every time we skip.
Every time you do, yeah, every single time.
So you can like have one on board and then you can send another to use with Nightmares and have a co-link to draw something.
Exactly.
Fair enough.
So that was great. The Brandish extract monsters, I think this ratio is perfect. I did sometimes miss the second blue one. I don't know if you did as well.
No, I didn't.
But just the red one, adding back a card from the graveyard, and then summoning the blue one for turn 1, and then getting another card, just going +2 for no apparent reason.
Yeah,
in a
it's
format,
insane.
you can end with like 6 cards in hand.
Yeah, and
every turn.
Stop your opponent.
This deck always has hand advantage. If you've not got hand advantage, then something's going seriously wrong for you. Because the deck just pluses so much that we always have cards in hand.
Of course.
So even when our opponent's building the board, like how many cards in hand? Like 6. And they have to sit there and consider them, the fact that we have 6 cards in hand, with one usually being a Candina that they know.
Of course, yeah.
It's just so much pressure.
Yeah, it's just so much pressure to put on just getting the pluses from these guys.
And the Scapegoat they have to worry about as well. It's just like.
And as I said earlier about the attack modifications in the mirror match, because Candina not being able to beat over like Lycris is really huge.
Also, like in the late game, like they can make Lilibelle not able to attack if you have them spells in grave. So like you're not in fear of actually losing just top deck Candina.
Oh yeah, fair enough. Sure.
For the Nightmares, we felt this was perfect. We didn't. There was times where the second Phoenix came up to me. I found I made Phoenix a lot, but I think with the extra deck being as tight as it is, there's nothing that can really be cut. Mermaid's essentially just there for Ibli. We didn't want to risk losing to Goki because we didn't have Ibli in our extra deck, and they sent something like a Necroguard into the graveyard.
That's fair.
And then we couldn't clear our own Ibli.
Yeah.
Unicorn is for when we're going off with goats. Unicorn and Cerberus really both for, and Goblin even. Just when you're going off with goats and you can afford to just discard cards, draw cards, and get your additional effects. So just keep advancing your game state and reducing your opponents. This is probably the most broken card in the extra, the Goblin.
Oh yeah, the extra normal Candinas.
All of the effects are amazing. There's really nothing else to say about it.
That's fair.
Extra normal summon Candina as well is just.
If you ever summon Goblin, you should just win that game.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
If Goblin hits the board, you've generally won. Cerberus was a bit subpar for me. I don't know about you.
I often use it just to go into overload.
Yeah, I agree.
That's my use for it.
Yeah.
I never use effect.
I don't think you could cut it though, because there are situations that come up against decks like Light Swan where they'll have a Nat Beast in the main monster zone, and being able to go Candina into Lilibelle, link for Cerberus, pop the Nat Beast is huge.
Sure.
So yeah, it has to stay for utility reasons.
Yeah.
Phoenix is just in the mirror match.
It's absolutely insane. It comes up against Brandish a lot as well.
It really does. Against everything really. I mean, after you've attacked over your opponent's board in the mirror match, hitting the light stage, main phase 2, so that you can't then freeze your back row, generally means you've won the game.
Yeah.
Unicorn, did you summon this card much?
I did. I summoned against Draco, Triple and Ignis. When it comes up, it's really good, but it's a large investment. So if you don't make it go, you're probably in a losing position. But I wouldn't cut it. Like it's really just like you have so many cards that just give you free advantage. Like go and Horn Pit. The discard isn't actually that negative to use.
I think every time I made this, I won.
Yeah.
So yeah, the Mermaid also just for Ibli. So that's 50. And then the we'll explain this. I have to leave it to the side deck.
Sure.
So I'll leave this out for now.
Fair enough.
So that's the extra deck 15, obviously.
Of course.
Side deck. Should we talk about the drops? So played 3 only. 3 reboot. That's it for traps. 6 traps.
Sure.
So they're just win buttons against decks like Draco and Altergeist. Evenly is really good against the bad Brandish players. You just like see, I'll multi-roll for 4, and then that should just like win me the game some advantage, and like they just don't respect this card.
Yeah.
That's particularly important if you're playing the Brandish player as well.
Especially because you can judge from game 1 to know when to side it in and whatnot.
Exactly.
Yeah. For sure.
Reboot's really cute with light stage as well, because you can light stage their set, and if it's like a Draco trap like Apocalypse, then you can reboot it and just force it then.
Force the activations, then reboot and go off safely. The main issue I have with this card though is that I went into going into time. This is really an issue.
You can't side it in game 3.
No, you can't. You have to be very, very careful. But I think it's better than Twin just because of the fact that it's a literal auto and like it shuts down the entire altar guys in Draco back row for the entire turn, and you just kill them through it.
Fair enough.
So I don't think the time rule is enough to justify putting reboot for Twin.
Sure.
So that was the 6 traps. Spells, we played 3 Shared Ride, and Secret Village just 4. This was our side deck cards for going first. We played no other side deck cards really for going first, like dedicated cards.
Okay.
So the idea with the Secret Village is that you can Hornet Bit into Kagari, add back to the spell, and then link them away for the Ib, and then Terraform for Secret Village.
Okay.
And your opponent can't activate spells in Brandish.
Yeah, pure Brandish doesn't have any. Like,
Do you want to explain that?
yeah, so Diablos is the only main deck for Brandish players, unless they're running evenly. But this deck is particularly better because I know pure Brandish has sometimes done this, but it's the nuts in this deck because you can search Reincarnation. So they use Reincarnation on the Diablos and they don't have an
Diablos effect in hand.
And if they go battle phase for evenly match and you actually think they have it, you can just Reincarnation it out of their hand.
You can often tell though if they have evenly matched or not based on how long they spend thinking about what they're going to do. Usually if they actually have it, they'll play quite fast, they'll enter the battle phase relatively quickly because they'll be very confident.
Yeah.
If they take a while to think about what they're going to do, it's generally safe to just not Reincarnation.
Sure.
That's just all it is. Shared Ride. This card's absolutely insane. I think every time I resolved it, I won. In the mirror match against Trickstar, against Pure Brandish.
It's just Maxi, this
It's
format.
Yeah,
Maxi.
literally Maxi, yeah.
It's
Maxi. Yeah.
Wouldn't consider maining it, I don't think, just because of how bad it is going second. The only deck is really good against going second is pure Brandon because he can't kill you in one turn.
That's fair.
But this card's amazing. We also did consider like a punch with me for the Lotus and some other cute cards going first.
Of course.
But none of them gained us cards. It was always taking cards away from our opponent. Whereas this card limits our opponent's plays as well as gaining his cards in the process. So it fulfills two purposes in one. So it's definitely
better going into time.
Exactly, better going into time.
Of course.
So that was really, really good.
Sure.
And then the last 5 monsters was 3 cherries and 2 ghost ogre.
Okay.
This was like our dedicated side deck for their Goki.
Sure.
We were really worried about Goki because we established that if we entered a deck, if we played a game against any other deck, we could probably win based on the fact that our engine's superior. But against Goki, if they go first and open a board, you have to look at your hand and say, can I out this? And if the answer is no, you just go to the next game, and we don't want to have to do that not once. Sure. So after siding, we had these 5. We did consider Bell and other cards instead of Ogre, but Ogre just seems like the best one because if you hit it, it's the one that's most likely to stop their plays for the turn. And it also has some utility against, a lot of utility actually, it's Draco. To hit Heritage.
Yeah.
So with these 2 in the 6 traps, you have 8 auto and 8 cards against Draco that just like shut down the turn effectively. So these guys are really, really good.
Fair.
We didn't play Isolde in the extra deck for this because we didn't have the space purely and we didn't have the space in the side deck. But we felt like with the Nightmares in our deck and the Firewall, we had enough good targets against Goki that as they're doing their combo, we could judge whether or not what to hit with from our own extra deck.
Sure.
Because it'll be in theirs as well. So for example, like Goblin, Firewall, cards like that, you can just hit them with the Reaper and you can shut down the whole turn effectively.
Okay.
So it was definitely worth playing.
And it's kind of funny as well because like good Goki players will have tested like what they can do through Zol and through Reaper, even Firewall. But like it's a real curveball like when you get hit with Reaper for like a Mermaid or just for another Nightmare that you need for a combo. So like really put them in an awkward spot where they're like, can they trigger their Firewall?
Yeah.
Sure.
And they can just pass to you. Like, and if they do that, your deck should just win because the only way you lose is if they set up the whole board. Because you have Ninger's on board loads, it's just the Nightmare lock on like the Brandish deck.
That's everything. 15 cards in the side deck, of course.
Of course, yeah.
We feel like the list was perfect. There was nothing we'd really change. If I had to go in the event, if I had to do the event again tomorrow, I'm pretty sure I'd play the same list with you. I'm not sure how New Jersey's going to change it in the other nationals, especially German and Italian next weekend. That will change the format. But for now, I believe that this was the best choice for this event and probably the best deck from the format after looking at the results from New Jersey as well.
Yeah, for sure. After looking at that with half the top gun, it's definitely going to be the best deck. Yeah, the list looks pretty solid. It's obvious that you put a lot of theory into it. Any shout-outs you guys want to give?
Yeah, loads. Everybody who lent me cards, so that's Jacob Halber, Alfie Morton, Kane Franken, and my sponsor Ben Sherman, who gave me the vast majority of my cards.
Some of them are here. Here's Ben. Here's Alfie.
Everyone I've stayed with this weekend: Christoph, Jason, Billy, Vlad, Jack, just everyone.
Sure.
Shout out to our circle as well.
To us, Pierluigi Sorrentino, Simon LaForestier, and Baptiste Rain. They're our circle who we've tested theory with, and they helped a significant amount with this deck.
Cool.
Also, shout outs to Don for being behind Comet. And Ola for just being generally amazing.
And Team 1CD.
Here's Ola.
And Vlad and Team 1CD.
Where is Vlad? Vlad is all the way down there.
Mark for being the cutest member of Team 1CD.
He's not getting in the video.
Get out of here, Mark. Yeah, you got anything?
I think that's it.
Yeah, that's it. Thank
Cool.
you very much.
Alright, thank you very much, guys. This is Team Kuribrohs with Irish National Champion Brad Wood and Top 4 Luke Coogan signing out.